But Gideon, what's this type of reporting trying to achieve? What do you think they're up to?
Look, as I said, I think it's an attempt to sort of muddy the waters with what the true motive was. I think it's sort of a roundabout way of saying the old, oh, not all Muslims, it's not all people of Islamic faith and so on. Oh, it's not just, Islam isn't the only religion that turns violent or inspires violent tendencies in extremists and so on. And then they talk about Christian extremists bombing abortion clinics, or the fact that Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated by a religious Jewish person. Now, that's all true. That's all true. And we shouldn't hide away from those issues either. But if either of those cases were current and present and reported, then they would have been fully reported what the motivation was and what the particular religious beliefs of the particular extremists behind them were. In this case, again, we're seeing a journalist almost go to a deliberate effort to obscure the real motivation behind this. And again, it's bad journalism. It does not get to the heart of the issue. And this is why people are losing faith with the mainstream media, because egregious attempts to hide relevant details like this, and it does appear to be an attempt to hide the relevant information. Those sort of things just confirm in people's minds that the media is running an agenda and will selectively edit their commentary to suit the particular narrative they're trying to pursue, or in this case, avoid.
It's not as if we haven't seen this happen in Australia already. Our former friend, your former friend and mine, Bill Leak, the cartoonist, was forced to move house after he published a cartoon featuring the Prophet Muhammad. And received very valid and confirmed death threats as a result. Gideon, why can't we just simply agree that militant Islam is a problem in liberal democracies?
Well, it's a very good question. I think most people do agree with that notion. I think people, September 11, I'm of the generation that came of political age, I guess, in around 2001, and that attack that changed the world. Now, look, and what I said earlier, not all Muslims, that's absolutely true as well. We have to accept, by the way. It is a minority. It is an extreme minority. Muslim people that I know or that have lived in Australia for a long time are peaceful people. They contribute to society, et cetera, et cetera. But you still have to acknowledge that tiny subset of the Islamic people that have militant tendencies. Let's say, for example, that 1% of Muslims are militant and violent and might cause these attacks. 1% for argument's sake. Well, there are 1.8 billion Muslims in the world. That still means that there are 18 million people who might have these tendencies. Again, it would be inaccurate and, I agree, bigoted to extrapolate that on the entire population, but we have to accept at some point that this is a problem. This is a civilizational clash. And the other point to note about it is that a lot of these extremists come from countries like Iran, where living conditions are very poor and they're very brutalized. Poverty and disadvantage sparks violence in many cases. Can we at least talk about that? Can we at least talk about the fact that a lot of these countries where autocrats keep their people ignorant and poor and angry at the wrong people are creating blowback effects for us here at the West? Again, avoiding these issues will not solve them. And we need to have a frank and serious discussion about the threat this faces.